All right, everybody. Well,
Everybody,
welcome. Whoa, everybody left.
everybody joining us right now. Alex has her special karaoke mic reporting live from where in Japan?
I'm reporting live from Tokyo, Japan, more specifically Shibuya, and I did not want to travel with my big mic, so I was like, oh, I'll just get one of these handheld mics, but I don't know how I feel about this. But we are here, and this is what it is. We are
Shibuya,
the group chat reporting live
Shibuya.
Shibuya. I was saying that earlier
People
today.
don't know that.
Uh,
People don't know that, man. That's funny.
they don't. But what we do know is that the Seahawks took a huge L against the Bills at home with the final score of 31-10. Um, I personally thought we were going to come off a better team because of the win against the Falcons. That game was such a different game. I mean, I didn't know if we were going to win. I just thought it was going to be a better game. But not only was it pouring down rain in Seattle, it was pouring mistakes on both sides of the ball. And then we didn't get capitalized on any of the opportunities that we had. And the Bills just had a huge dominant performance against us. And it was definitely a tough day to be a 12. And we'll talk about that later because the 12s seem to be MIA.
Yeah.
MIA.
And when they say it rains, it pours. Well, that was the story in Seattle. Literally in every aspect. I mean, I'm trying to find positives
Right.
in the game.
Right.
Really? I mean, offense, defense, special teams getting served, the 12th man getting served in the stadium. Like, this is
Right.
just, it's one of those weeks I just want to forget about, truly, but we got to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it before we move on. What do they say in therapy? The first part of moving on from a problem is admitting there's a problem. So,
Right. Right.
Houston, we have a mother in problem right now in Seattle. Come on.
We have a huge problem. I mean, if you look at the numbers between just the teams, we got outplayed in every single aspect. If we want to talk about total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, our rushing yards were very limited. So let's just go into that offense. DK was out. Gino was 21 for 29, 212 yards, and 1 interceptions. I think when you look at that, you're like, okay, it doesn't look too terrible, right? But then when you look at the bigger picture with the team stats, we had 32 yards rushing. 32. And I
Yeah.
think we've been talking about this. If we can get the run game going, I think it seems like once K9 is going and once he has a great game, the Seahawks win. If K9 doesn't get going or he doesn't get opportunities, we lose. Like, is this a trend or like, I mean, obviously we need everything in all aspects of the game to go well for us to win. But I think
Oh,
this has been a trend, and I don't think it would have made a difference if DK was in or not. I don't know.
I think you're spot on. I think it all starts with setting the tempo on the ground, and
Mhm.
I'll say Ryan Grubb. I hear what he's saying, but I don't believe what he's saying. The actions ain't matching up with the words. I was watching some of the film. Yes, the O line is getting zero push, but to literally run the ball, attempt 9 rushing attempts with K9, and you know that's crazy to me. That's just completely asinine. If you look
Mhm.
back
Mhm.
on the games we have won, whether K9 was healthy or not, we established the
Right.
run game, and so that played into the time of possession. We gained control. I sound like a goddamn broken record right now. Uh, which when you control, if you can run the ball, control the
Mhm.
time of possession, and put points on the board, that takes pressure off the run defense, which we are still getting our asses whooped. Anyways, don't let me get
Asses
started. But yeah,
whooped. I
yeah,
mean, I think when we look good and we're moving the ball, obviously we look great. It's just the mistakes that outweighed the good, I think, for us in this game. Obviously, there was a pick from Austin Johnson, and shout out to the homie Austin. But I love seeing my friends do well. But don't do it against our Seahawks, please. We're stepping on toes. We're snapping the ball over the head. And those seem like, we're in the pros. And this is what Richard Sherman was saying in his pod. It's like, we're in the pros. We should not be doing this. We're not in, what do they call? Not the little league, but in
Pop Warner,
Pop Warner.
Pop
This ain't
Warner,
Pop
middle school,
Warner.
high
Why
school.
are
This
we stepping on toes and snapping the ball over the head. It's the little things. We've talked about this. It's the little fundamental skills and little things that we need to do every single week that have been, like you said, kicking our ass. And it's getting to that point where we're like, all right, well,
Mike and I were talking,
what is
and I
missing?
hate to say this. I hate to say this because it's probably one of the most cliche cop outs that you'll hear in sports, in every sport. But hey, if Tom Brady agrees, then I'll take it. But unforced errors,
Mhm.
we we it's to your point. We're beating ourselves. The Seahawks are beating
100%.
themselves. Just some stupid shit. I mean, like everybody could talk about, Geno threw another pick, but if you just think about that play, that how that even happened, it was bounced right. It was kind of a messed up play, period,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it went through K9's hands and right into your friend's hands.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's just little things like that, man. So we're beating ourselves, and then I'll throw on top of that. I think you, I agree to a certain extent, but I think it would have made a bit of a difference if DK was there. And I've seen a
Mm,
lot of people talking about like DK and his agent just, you know, they had a good night tonight watching the Seahawks play like this because it just goes to show when you don't have that deep threat,
right.
they ain't gonna respect it, man. And so if I'm a safety, a strong safety, is free safety, and I know the one guy that I'm worried about getting behind me is not playing, I'm
Mhm.
gonna cheat up and I'm gonna help contribute to stopping K9 in the box. So I
Right.
mean, I we definitely missed him out there. I think so.
I mean, yeah, I agree to that point because especially in moments where we had huge momentum shift when, we got the ball off of an interception and we can't even convert that into points in the red zone. What is going on with our red zone offense? And I feel like we've been struggling with this the entire season. We're going for it on 4th and 1. We can't even get a touchdown on 4th and 1 and missed opportunities, missed points. Oh
Do you
gosh, I don't
think
know.
so? This is just my opinion, and I'm just some Joe Schmo out there, but still, the spread offense, I love it. We have so much talent, and I believe with the resume Ryan Grubb has, I'm 100%. You're never going to change my mind about this one, that we shouldn't have a run heavy offense
Mm,
where you have a two back set, that the another tight end in to help, maybe shit, one receiver, two tight ends, and a two backs. Who knows? But sorry, let me watch my mouth. Get Geno under center. This is the one thing when we're in the red zone, I hate the gun. I hate playing out of the gun. I really do, because the field shrinks and you're in a pass set offense. You're in a pass formation. So to run out
time
of
out.
that is very hard. Yeah.
For those who don't know what the gun is, what is the gun?
That's shotgun. Sorry. So you have a shotgun where you're probably Geno stands behind, under center means your hands under the butt and you're like,
Hands under the crotch.
yep.
Okay.
And then that, there's a good chance we run the ball look back at Russell Wilson and Marshawn and,
Right.
that era, Mike Robb
Mhm.
back there, we're under center. So I feel
Got it.
like I love the spread offense, but I think we should definitely mix in some I formations, some power offense, and
Mhm.
yeah, get out of the gun, get out of the pistol, man. I hate that in the red zone. It's my least favorite part about our offense. So
Ugh, yeah, I mean, you should score. You should score every time,
yeah,
and we have been
there's too much
struggling with.
talent. That's the thing.
Mhm.
If we had doo doo talent, then I'm like, okay, we'll let them off the hook. But when you have guys like Noah Fant, who was a high draft pick, you have guys like DK, you have
Mhm.
freaking Jake Bobo, you have the two of arguably the best gashers in the NFL with JSN. Well, not in the NFL, but they're up there with those group of slot receivers. Then you have two backs like Zach Charbonnet and
Right.
K9. It was like we should be running the ball and scoring touchdowns. Like it's easy to say we should be scoring, but with the talent that we have on offense and
Mhm.
that we've invested into this offense, we should be scoring. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I
And I ain't
mean,
talking about field goals either. God damn it. Fuck.
We need touchdowns. Going to defense, though, we talked about, I mean, Job got interceptions, but we couldn't score off of that. Rika's back. We got a new linebacker, Ernest Jones, his first game with the Seahawks. And how many tackles did he have?
He had a
15?
whopping 15. Damn.
Wow.
Hey, let me just
So,
pause
yeah.
because first of all, that boy would whoop our ass when we played the Rams. He was nasty. And you could tell he's been coached up, had some great coaching, had some great mentorship, maybe by someone that goes by the name of Bobby Wagner.
Mhm.
But I just want to point out how crazy this is. The man got signed not even 48 hours before throwing pads on and suiting up for us in a completely different scheme. And the boy comes out and gets 15 tackles. I'm super
Yeah.
pumped.
Round of applause. Thank
And
you.
and as much as I like Jerome Baker and he would fly around and make tackles, one, he missed a lot of tackles, and two, there's a terminology in football where someone gets put on roller skates. They get put on skates. If an offensive lineman got his hands on Jerome Baker, that boy was on skates 10 yards deep. It was bad. And I just love the toughness that Ernest Jones brings. So yeah, really excited about that. And I can't wait till he starts gelling. But
Right, and the fact that that was what we got him on the day before the game, or it was very new. So the fact that
yeah.
he went out there, showed out that early on, like you said, I'm excited too, and hopefully he can bring some sort of change and energy that we need for the Seahawks right now because Josh Allen was he
Too
was
comfortable.
running
Too
all over
comfortable
us,
again.
very comfortable. Keon Coleman went off on us. Allen was 24 for 34, 283 with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, but, like,
There's
when you
just
just
two there's
watch
just
him.
quarterbacks that you don't there's a couple
Yeah,
quarterbacks in the NFL that you just don't want to get comfortable, you know. Josh
him
Allen
and
is, in my
Mahomes.
opinion, is at the top of the list. Patrick
100%.
Mahomes is up there too, but Josh Allen, never
Yeah,
let that man get comfortable because he'll beat you with his arm, he'll beat you with his legs. I mean, he'll just beat you in every way you could think of.
and
Just
he
straight up
did.
beat your ass, just
And
period.
that's
So,
just he'll whoop that
man,
ass.
yeah. So, goddamn.
Oh gosh, and because he was beating us up so bad, we saw lots of frustration. We saw some penalties happening that shouldn't have happened. Hall had a late hit on Allen, and Reed was not happy with that. So on the sideline, we saw some extracurriculars between the teammates, which,
So
we've
this is
talked
where
about this, right? We've talked about this,
yep. So
like
there's a
holding your team
difference
accountable.
between exactly. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
There's a difference between just knucklehead type shit. Like remember last year when DK got into a Fred Warner, that was
Yep.
just stupid as hell. You ain't there's
Right.
nothing to prove there. You're yes, the emotions get the best of everyone in those scenarios, but this is a different type of flare up. In my opinion, this is where you have a family, you have two brothers, and the big brother is like, hey,
Mhm.
you better, we talked about this at the very beginning of the season. Who's the big brother in
Right.
that locker room and who's going to hold each other accountable? And for the first time, I saw it and I was like, you know what? There's the one positive right there that I saw is that Jerron
Right.
Reed, man, you know, pretty much put Derek Hall. That's thank you. I'm glad you bowed out of that one
Right.
because that's one you don't want to go take on right there.
Oof.
You're a baller, but yeah.
Right.
So and then like they said, minutes later on the sideline, you've seen them. They're talking. They're talking it out. It's just what
Mhm.
brothers do.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
got to check
Mhm.
each other, hold each other accountable, and then the press conference after is just all like, "We love each other." We said we love
Right.
each other. It's all love. I love, love, love. Now go take that love and go freaking beat somebody's ass. Now that's on the other team, not the other way
Don't beat each
around.
other up. I
So,
think I even
yeah.
saw a clip of them, like, helmet to helmet, like, going back and forth, and then 2 Bills players kinda came up, and they're like, "Hey," trying to, like,
That's
make peace, and
embarrassing,
I was like, "What
man.
are they doing?" But yeah,
Family,
no,
family
like you said, I
business.
think we need that. We need that accountability, like, when we talk about, Legion of Boom in those days, each one of those players held each other accountable on the sidelines, and it was kinda like the same energy, and so I hope, with the new addition and that kind of, I don't wanna say altercation, but that kind of activity on the sideline, I hope we can turn things around and figure it out because I feel like we're just just still scrambling and figuring things out and putting these puzzle pieces together. It's like we have a great week and then we have a shitty week and then we have
Mhm.
another. I don't know. It's just we're still figuring it out, and I'm hoping that they're starting to figure out their places on the team too, as far as like leadership and just I don't know. I just hopefully I don't know. This
You
game
know,
was hard for all of us.
a lot of my close friends, they think that a lot of them get tired with how much of a glass half full type of person I am. At times,
Mhm.
like even right now, it's upsetting how we played, but I'm actually not that mad because it
Right.
can't get worse than this, in my opinion. It
Right.
truly can. And so the only way to
Mhm.
go from now, they always say, is up. So
Right.
I hope that's what it pans out to be. But yeah, it's just there's there's the aspect of just I think it's just the small things and beating ourselves and the accountability part of it. If we can just tighten that stuff, it's for me.
Mhm.
I feel like the skill is all there. That we have so much talent. The schemes historically work. I think just
Mhm.
tying all those pieces together. Yeah, and it's easy to say be patient, but shit, we're fans, and a lot of us invest into this not just with our money, but
Mhm.
emotions too. And so we want.
Right.
I know
Right.
a lot of us would be like, we want that shit now, but it's kind of just one of those things where we're still 500. Look at the teams that have the same schemes
Right.
that they've had for a few years, and these teams have 1 win, 2 wins. So,
Mm. Mm.
um,
I mean, you're
there's my
right.
glass half full.
I saw this. I didn't see it. I heard this quote. I forget who said it. It was some athlete, but he said, "Take your what do you say? Hold up. Let me look at it. Let me look. One moment. One moment. Take your losses like you take your wins and move on." And that's what
Mhm.
we need to do. And I think as Seahawks fans, I feel like fans in general have a hard time. And as we talk about this is going to be our what we call a never ever moment. All right, y'all. This is going to be called a never ever moment. Josiah, do you want to speak on that a little bit and how you came up with
I
this
was like,
name
we need
before
to
we
have
go
a
into this moment?
segment. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite movies of all time is Friday. And there's a
Mhm.
scene in there where Felicia, and everybody's heard the term bye Felicia, but
Mhm.
she's coming around, and then Smokey, who's played by Chris Tucker, he's like, it's not Felicia, it's this girl who says, I look like Janet Jackson. And she pulled up, and then they're like, she came around here looking like Freddie Jackson. And they're like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you. You go, I'm gonna call you. You gonna call me? Yeah. But don't you ever, ever come back here. So I was like, there's all these moments where I'm watching this game. It's
Oof.
like, we need to make that a segment. It's kind of like the "Come On Man" type moments.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
since "Come On Man" was already taken, I was like, let's have a "Don't You Ever" segment. So
Don't you
that's what
ever,
it is.
never, ever moment
Yeah.
segment. We're going to talk about the fans. Everybody's talking about Pat McAfee's talking about this. Richard Sherman is talking about this.
Typically, we talk
12s.
about players in this part, but yes, go ahead,
Right.
Alex. Sorry.
Now we're gonna talk about us. We're gonna talk about fans.
Hmm.
Where are you? Why are all these Bills fans? Why are all these Niners fans? Why are they louder than us? We're supposed to be known as the 12th man, right? We're supposed to be known as the 12th man, creating turnovers, creating penalties for the other team because what? We're so loud. But why did Gino in his interview say at times it felt like it was an away game?
Mm.
Like, are we getting
Dang.
to the point where we are giving up? Granted, it's not the LOB era. Granted, it's not the Carroll era. But what is going on? I mean, granted, we don't live in Seattle, and obviously, like I was in Seattle a few weeks ago, and I was at the game. But what is going on? Are we bandwagoners? Like, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my French. Whoa, sorry. Got a 3-year-old in this room too.
No, it's and you know what? I'll say this. This is one of the things I hate most about when it comes to the shit talking with friends throughout the years with football and rivalries. And you get mad at the stuff that they're right about. And I'm not trying to say I was never a bandwagon fan, but man, I grew up
Mhm,
in the kingdom. I was like,
mhm.
Trent Dilfer was our quarterback. I grew up going to a game with my uncle Jack. He played quarterback in the NFL, but he took me
Throwing
to my
Samoan,
first.
shout out.
Yeah, yeah, my uncle Jack Thompson, man, throwing someone go Cougs, but he took me to my first Seahawks game, and that was back when Warren Moon was our quarterback, and we had
Mm,
some people forget we had Joey Galloway, we had Ricky Waters back then,
mhm.
and then John Kitna, Lincoln High School, Ellensburg, Central Washington Fave, like we were
Crazy.
poop for these years. And then those fans, I still remember it being loud as hell in the Kingdom back then, even
Right.
when we had losing teams. And then the Pete Carroll era came along, and the rest of the state got involved. And I was like, damn, man, this is crazy. But now we ain't on that train no more. And those fans that came on board in the 2010s eras, this is where we need to hunker down and pull for our boys, man. Truly, it's embarrassing to be out
Yeah.
cheered. I was like, when you're watching games on TV and your quarterback's at home, I like hearing the cadence. You can hear cadence. You can hear them say, "Hey, scoot out, step off the line."
Mhm.
Scoot up on the line. You can hear the conversation, and then Gino's out there at home like red 18, check, 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 check. Like I was like, holy shit, he looks like he's at an away game right now. Like
Right.
can't even hear the calls. So
Right.
we gotta step it up, man. Don't ever
Mm.
ever get out cheered by somebody else in your own home turf, man. That's just disrespectful and embarrassing.
Right. It's like, we're not the Las Vegas Raiders where people want to go there. You know what I mean? The first
Yeah.
Raiders game I went out there, it was a Raiders Bears game. You didn't know who was a home team because people want to travel. That's like travel destination. Granted, it's beautiful in the Pacific Northwest, but it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be.
Hmm.
So whoever is selling your season tickets away to people, make sure you're selling them to Seahawks fans,
See, this is just one of those things too, where I'm
right?
like, when we went to the Super Bowl in '05, back
Mhm.
when we had Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander, Lofa was starting our middle linebacker. That's when I really, really fell in love with football.
Mhm.
Everybody on ESPN and NFL Network always they referred to us as the Southeast Alaska Seahawks because we're up in the Northwest all by ourselves, and teams are watching our record
Right.
just continue to
Right.
pull away. And
Uh,
here comes the postseason, and now everyone in the country is like, "What the hell? The Seahawks are freaking number one seed, number two seed." It's crazy.
right.
So that's the stuff that I was
Right.
like, "Yeah, we out here by ourselves, man. Trying to make a name out here, let our
Right.
presence be known." So that's just me, though. Some people, it's just like, depending on which way the goddamn wind blows, they want to cheer for their team. So if you're one of
It's
those people, don't
very
come on this chat because we're gonna go at it real quick.
speaking of trying to put our name out there, we were number 1 in the NFC West. Now at the top is the Arizona Cardinals.
I will say this. This is what I love about the NFL and a division like ours. Like you gotta get like Alex, like you said, you gotta take the wins, ride the highs. Don't get caught up in the highs. Don't get caught in the lows.
Right.
Just
Gotta
stay
stay
even keel. Exactly.
mm.
But this is just one of those things where I love football and it's
Right.
addicting and it's an emotional roller coaster.
Right.
We went from number 3 to number 1. Now we're back. I was like, oh my
We're
gosh,
back
the
at
Niners.
3. It
Yeah. And
is
then
a
the
tight
Cardinals out 1.
race.
What the
Well,
hell happened?
the Cardinals just beat the Miami Dolphins. Tua came back, like Tyreek was like, "Everybody get your starting lineups ready for fantasy. We're back." And I
Mm,
mean, he was right, but the Cardinals ended up winning, so they're at number 1. Niners at 2nd. So 3
that's
teams are 4 and
wild,
4.
man.
We got the Cardinals, we got the Niners, and then we got us.
And you know what's crazy?
And
If you look at who's below us, who's at the bottom, the Rams. And you know what? Guess
oh
who's
my
getting
gosh.
healthy right now? While the Niners getting injured, while we have injuries, guess who's getting healthy? Guess who has Puka Nakua coming out and looking like a brand new man? Oh my, this is we got to
He's
pull
got
our
the
shit
young
together.
energy though. He's
Oh
got
yeah.
that great young energy. Post-game show interview. It's just hard not to like that kid. It's hard not to he's good on the field, but just off the field too. You can just tell he has
Good
so much
peoples,
love for
man.
the game and he has fun doing it and he balls
Mhm.
out. But Cup and him back. Now they're 3 and 4. They're right below us and we got them next, which I'm like, y'all, we need to get our shit together. We cannot let them run all
Remind me,
over
is this
us,
one a
throw
home or
all
away
over us.
game?
Oh, fuck. What is this? What is this? I think
I want to say I think
it's
we're home, but I actually, if we're home, I'm like, I think we're doing better on the road right now. Maybe we should want it to be an away game.
we are doing better on the road, and they talked about that too. It's like the amount of points that we've been scoring, which is different, and that's another reason the 12 thing came up too, because usually when they play home, we've always had such an advantage. Yep, it's in LA. So we've always had such an advantage. So this might be a good thing for us to go into LA at SoFi and just maybe that's our thing. Maybe away games are our thing, but we need to make both home and away games our thing. So it's a tight race in the NFC West. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts right now? Look at the look
I
on your
know.
face.
This is where I'm like, I said it last week. We had a lot of injuries, and now people are getting healthy again right at the right time. As we enter the
Mhm,
second
mhm.
half of the season, as we
Right.
approach the second half of the season, that's when you want to get healthy. The Niners, they're dropping like flies right now. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm,
had
mhm.
uh freaking Brandon Ayuk just went out this last game, and so it's like, that's not
Yeah.
good. DK, but we'll get DK
They're
back, and
They're still the Niners, they still beat the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys are
yeah,
kinda like, but they're still doing their
but
thing. They're showing a little unnecessary things post-game with wearing hats, but we won't talk about that because we don't
but
wanna
if
talk
we
about
tighten
political
this shit
stuff.
up, if we tighten this ship, I guess shit works too. I guess if we can tighten our ship up right now, like we have to kick in the overdrive right now because teams like the Cardinals are in first place. Teams like the Rams are getting healthy, and at the end of the day, regardless of what the record shows, we have to, as long as you win the division, we
That's
won
all
the
that
division
matters.
with a losing record once upon a time. That was wild.
Oof,
Like that.
we did.
Anyways, that's my only thing is like, how fast can we, steer the ship into the right direction? We haven't even been in the right direction. We've been kind of, if we have to go north, we've been like the closest, like northwest or northeast, like
Right.
kind of going north, but kind of off. We have to fucking center this shit right now.
Right
So
now.
for
Okay,
real, man.
couple okay, I'm kind of done talking about the Seahawks. Let's talk about other NFL stuff that
Next.
is a little bit more positive, shall we? Okay, can we talk did you see the Hail Mary? What the hail? Can you see that Hail Mary that Washington defeated the Bears with? But time out. But did you see number 28 talking hella shit to the fans? But he's
That
the
was
one who took the
funny.
ball into the hands
That
of
was
the
funny.
Commanders. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is like if instant karma was a thing, that was definitely
I
it.
saw a
Like, what
funny
are you doing?
I saw a funny caption. Somebody posted that, and the caption was like, and this guy was cut the very next morning or something like that. I was like, yeah, I would have been cut his ass because he was right in the mix of things. Instead of freaking talking to the crowd like that, talking shit to the crowd, he should have
Like,
been paying
finish the
attention,
game.
bro. Finish the
It's like
game.
it's
It
like
ain't over till it's
the
over.
it's like people running into the end zone thinking they scored the touchdown, and then they either do a stupid ass move like flip or they get the ball taken away because 'cause they're trying to celebrate way too early. It's like finish the play,
Mhm.
finish the game. But shout out to the Commanders. It's the best record that they've had since 2008. They're 6-1, which
God
is
damn.
insane. So shout out to the Commanders. I
I saw
mean,
a crazy stat where they
amazing.
like this is the first time where the last two games they held their opponents to no touchdowns in the first half since like
Mhm.
1997 or something. I was like, what the? That's a random stat, but that's kind of cool though.
Right,
So
right. And then the Browns just snapped their 5-game losing streak because Jameis Winston came in too because Deshaun Watson is out. I mean, he just brought a lot he beat the Ravens, first of all. They beat the Ravens, and he had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, like, come on. I think people have been wanting him to start for a while, but
yeah, but
I
you
think
gotta.
it's
That's
nice
the
to
thing
see
about
these
politics, right there. Is like
right.
you paid him in, and now you made your bed. You got to sleep with it. But
Mhm,
I
mhm.
pray that he gets a speedy recovery, Deshaun. But
Right.
man, I'm a Jameis fan through and through. Like I'm not like a diehard Jameis fan, but I love his energy. I love his
Mhm.
gameplay. Even since he was in college, I was like, he's a baller. And
Right.
yeah, it's cringe. Well, I can't do that whole shit, but I'm like the whole thing. We gonna
Go.
eat the W's off, you know.
Oh,
You ever see that?
I didn't see that. That's why when you did, I was like,
No, what? That's what he's famous for, man. They talk about that. They're like his pregame speeches. Hey, yo, we gonna get out here. We gonna eat these W's. You know, we're gonna be.
oh,
And everybody's like, you see, Deshaun Jackson in the back, like,
I love it.
like his own
I love
teammates
it.
are just like, yeah.
Speaking of cringy quarterbacks sometimes and a little bit off, Russ is off to a great start.
God
Russ is
damn it!
2
Why
and
do you
0.
keep?
Oh, I know.
Uh,
We have to talk about this though. We have to talk about this. I mean, granted the game that they just played was against the Giants and it was battle of the field goals for the first half. But if you take the first half away, the second half, Russ was cooking and Russ was
this
being
is where
Russ.
this is
Russ
where
that we know from the
yeah,
Seahawks.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I was like, we were talking about this last week. I said,
Right.
am I the only person that is hoping Russ does well this first start? Like, okay,
Right.
I'm kind of over the breakup, you know. But then
Right.
after last night, you know, you and Mike and I were talking. I was like, and I told you guys, this feels like this is just me because apparently Alex doesn't feel the same way. But if you have a breakup with somebody, it's like you want them to do well, you know, but just not better than you. It's like, fuck, I want you to be happy, but I'm right now you're happier than me, and I don't want that. So Alex is like, fuck that. I don't want anybody to
I
be happy.
mean, I want them to be happy. I want him to be happy because I honestly feel like Denver was just not a place for him. You can just
Yeah.
tell it was very different, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was just a very different atmosphere. It wasn't an atmosphere for him. We talk about, everybody talks about Russell's speeches and pregame stuff. It's very calculated. It's very Russell Wilson, and I
What'd you
think
call it?
when he was
Toxic,
I
uh,
called it toxic
toxic
positivity, but
positivity.
I don't really wanna call it that, but I think it's just I mean, he worked with a mental health sports coach for a long time, which is great. I think my light just went out. Hold on. I think I'm just gonna keep talking, you guys. I'm gonna
Hey,
keep talking.
keep talking. The show must
I
go
think
on.
all athletes need that. I think all athletes need a mental health coach, and we're back. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think when you are in a place where you don't fit in, fuck. I think it just doesn't work, and I think we need it just doesn't work, you know what I mean? So I think has found a space and found a place for him. My light's probably gonna go out again, but that's fine. We're just gonna go in the dark. Um,
Hey, it's Halloween, man. Just go ride the
it's
theme, baby.
Halloween.
It's we have the haunted house in Japan. What's that? The Grudge? Is that what it's? We got the Grudge
No.
theme podcast today.
Oh, it is. It is. But I mean, it is actually like 3 in the afternoon, you guys. My niece
Oh
is just
shit!
taking a nap, so that's why the lights are off. But
Just pull the
anyways,
hair
I'm
over your
happy for
face.
Russ. Oh, don't do that. I'm happy for Russ. I'm happy for everything that's going for him at the moment. But yeah, like it just makes me a little oh, there we go. Just turn up the light on my screen. Um, yeah.
You know,
Anyways.
you talk about his mindset, and this is
Mhm.
actually I want to know what everybody listening in on this thinks too. Like when you see Russ getting chewed out by Sean Payton last year in
Yeah.
Denver. I mean, just
Yeah.
he's just sitting there like a little boy, and his dad's yelling at him like he just broke something expensive in the house, and he's just taking it. But he just shows up and he perseveres. And now look at him right now. And then you have somebody like Gino, who's frustrated, rightfully so. He's doing as much as he can, but then the emotions even got the best of him, where he's throwing the
Right.
ball at guys'
Right.
heads. He's on the sideline like, and Gino, he may not be crying, but he has the face to where when people have that look on their face, where like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? For some reason, Gino looks like he's actually crying when he makes that face. So
He
when
looks
they zoom in
defeated.
on, yeah, I mean,
He looks
he may not
defeated.
be. It's just the look on his face looks like that. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are when what do you feel like when you see Gino frustrated, yelling and throwing the ball at somebody's helmet. And then,
Mhm.
but then you can look back and then you have Tom Brady who's done the same too. Granted, Tom Brady has, you know, hella rings, under his belt, but and he's over there yelling at coaches, and then the coaches are just sitting there taking it. It's crazy. So it's an emotional game. I want to know what everybody thinks. What do you think on that?
I mean, it's emotional, but I think as a leader, you need to keep your shit together. because you are leading
Mm.
your team and you
Mm.
can't lose it. Because once you do that, your whole team is going to follow, which I think it was maybe just trickling down into the defense as well. But
Yeah, what's the saying?
I
Shit
mean,
rolls what?
what about shit?
I said, what's the saying? Shit rolls what? Shit rolls downhill. So
Definitely doesn't
if it's
roll uphill, that's for sure.
yeah, so like you said, exactly. Well, thank God. But like you said though, if the CEO of a company, if you're quarterback of a
Mhm.
team, if they're at the top of the hill and they're taking a
Right,
hot steamy
right,
shit and it starts rolling downhill, it's going to trickle on everybody's forehead. You know what I'm saying? So
right, and
that
I think it's
person,
trickling down to the fans as well. So
mm,
12s, step it up. Everybody
wipe the
needs to
shit
step
off
it
your
up.
forehead.
It is a team
Stick it up.
effort, and we need to just, take your losses like your wins and just move on, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on.
Amen to that.
Right. I need to yeah. It it's wild. It's wild. So, Rams next week. We got this. Okay.
Hey, glass half full, man. It can't get worse than this.
Always,
We're looking up
always.
now. So, well, this was
Alright,
fun.
everybody. I
Got to
hope you
talk
loved
about
my
this
karaoke mic. I'm gonna go do
karaoke.
karaoke in Japan now. My niece is waking up. I gotta go.
All right, all right. Thanks. Nice chatting and nice chat. We'll see you back on the West Coast.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
All
listening to
right,
the
group
group
chat.
chat. My
You
name is
guys take it
Alex,
easy.
and that's Josiah.
And I'm Josiah.
Bye.